Okay. We shall now be live. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another Arknights live stream. Of course, today's live stream will be mostly focusing on several things, but the goal/plan is not to stream for a long time. Granted, I don't know how long it's going to take regardless, but I don't plan on streaming for the whole day. Which, you know, could happen. We will see. Again, I don't know how things will go. If it took me about 5 hours, I will not be streaming for 5 hours. I think that's the best way to explain it. Because I don't know how long it's going to take EX, especially depending upon how, I guess, stubborn might be the better way of saying it I am when it comes to the mechanics. Or if I just don't really give a care about whatever I use. It depends how I feel. Of course, I have not read the story, so I can't really say anything when it comes to my thoughts on the collab. Overall, I will say this.
I will ensure the office's safety during
I'm
this
not
period of time.
entirely certain how I feel about the mechanics. Like, I feel like, to an extent, they're in the same vein as, like, the Rainbow Six, not Rainbow Six, Monster Hunter collab. Where, for the most part, a lot of the equipment is just, doesn't really help that much at all. Or is just completely and utterly needless. Like, you don't need to use it. And the only time that I, well, quote unquote, did would have been during the boss for at least Monster Hunter. But we'll see. I don't know how it's gonna go. I guess it really comes down to the map layout, honestly. Because I might be able to face tank it. Maybe. That's the thing, is I don't know how it's gonna go, honestly. What else? Aside from how long we stream and focusing on the EX stages, there's some other things I'll be focusing on or doing, but the other thing is, of course, I will be using the headhunting ticket. Like I said before, there are 2 10-pull tickets. One of them is when you first log in. The second one is the login event, with the 8th day being able to get another 10-pull. You have about 2 chances for free. So you only have to do 100 pulls, which is not too bad. Technically it's 121, but I'm not gonna care about specifics here. Huh. I didn't even realize there was a questionnaire. Okay. Well, shit. If I remember to, we'll do questionnaire. Now, there's a part of me that wants to use or build certain characters, but we'll see.
I'm not... okay. If it's what you want to call me, Doctor, then no worries. I am a little puppet.
Okay.
Good morning. A dreamless night of sleep alleviates exhaustion the most.
We're gonna do that first, and then, we'll see, actually, because now that kind of puts a damper on things, because I didn't realize there was a quick questionnaire. I do want to get the questionnaire out of the way. Well, we'll do the 10 pull. Get that out of the way. I guess we could do a few EX stages and then questionnaire. That's probably what we'll do. And get absolutely shit up. Okay, thank you, Gabe. Well, I don't have to worry about putting that into a video because I've already done with the video, so. Anyway, last thing. I do actually want to, because I make the rules around here. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm gonna actually E2 Ella here. I was wanting to work on an upgrade more, but the biggest limiting factor nowadays is just LMD. It's just LMD.
Together, we can shake the very stars from the sky.
I was expecting her to say a lot more. We'll go to 20.
Picked up a few new tricks.
I'll probably go with S3. There we go. There's a lot. Technically, I'd have to work on a lot more, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So yeah, that's probably what we're gonna do. So I did work at least for 3 of them. I did not get docking 2'd, but we're gonna try to use as we can here the ones that we V2'd for EX and go from there. We'll probably go about halfway or a couple hours, depending on how long it takes to do the EX stages. And then do the questionnaire and go from there. I think that sounds fair. Oh, there's a mini annihilation. I was not expecting the mini annihilation, by the way. Okay, that's again, it puts more of a damper on shit. Goddamn. Okay. Let's just start. Sierra-EX-1. It is hard to find a good spot to rappel from on the newly repaired balcony. Tourists start rushing in as soon as you set your anchor. I find this to be a little funny. It definitely seems like at some point they'll go through. I feel like there could be enemies over here.
At least make it challenge.
Take out Ethan. I'm tempted to probably even use Takancha, but
At your command.
there we go. I have a lot of ideas, but I don't know how this is gonna go, so. And yes, no devices. What the fuck? Okay, so it's just, I think, the same thing, just harder variants.
Good scenery here, Doctor.
Well, there's only one entrance, so.
Around me, guys.
Remain silent.
On standby.
Thunder roar!
We're counting on you again today, little apple. ーゲットロックオン
Get behind me. Charging.
初期化完了しました We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Letting off thunder roar. I got this. Yoshita's one go take. Come. I'm with you. Thunder roar.
Solid positioning. Can you do it?
Can I just do this?
Whew. I have to get serious now.
An eye for an eye. That will slow them down.
Whew.
Okay.
Almost dozed off.
There's ways you can handle this that I can see, but it doesn't seem necessary.
Can you do it?
I was not expecting that. I was not expecting big boys onto the right here. Oh, the game did not like that, by the way.
Mic check successful.
Beginning assignment.
Ready when you...
Stay out of sight.
Casimiro.
Wind rise.
Okay.
Stay out of sight.
That's fine. I did not even see that red box, by the way. But that's fine.
One bullet each.
This is too easy. Like, this is not a brain that easy. And, like, they take their time with it, and it's fair that the difficulty it is what it
In my
is.
sights. Light, heed me.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Slice them up like
But there's challenge
Do you
mode,
like it?
so we'll have to see what challenge mode does. Okay. My guess is probably gonna be like near the blue exit, and so we have to put our positionings on the 3 corners. It's my guess.
Let's
Uh-huh.
go.
Well, kinda. I was kinda correct there.
I'm here to help.
Remain silent.
Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't expect them to do as much damage there. They definitely increase the sets a lot there, which the game does. Lovely does not tell you, by the way. Yeah, it's definitely more than 5%. In this case, it really is just getting a healer out.
ついてきて。はぐれないように気をつけてね。
I'm here to help. Whew. Oh, we're counting on you again today, little apple. Arts unit. Charge 中.
Remain silent.
Program. 治療プロセス. I have to get serious now.
I shall cover you. I'm with you. On standby. Light, heed me.
Whew. Gather around me, guys.
Light, heed me.
Danger.
Focus on the remain alert.
Oh! Fuck me!
Revitalize.
Whew. We're counting on you again today, little apple.
I got these. Revitalize.
Come on, Cherry Quasi Tesoro.
An eye,
Hey, Six!
an eye for an eye. Bike check successful.
I have to get serious now.
A tooth for a tooth.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Good shit! That's too easy, mates.
ここは通せないんだ。手助けはいる？
Ready when
Hostile in my sights.
暴力で解決するのは嫌なんだけどな。
Ejim. An eye for an. That will slow them down.
Bro, the bulky bitch! Damn, son!
I'm with you.
医療プロセス開始します。
Gathering it.
Stay out of sight.
Come on, Cherry Quasi Tesoro.
Got the bulky bitch! Well, at least not this side, but damn, he
不意打
has
ちま
side
でドクタ
defense.
ーの想定内だったなんて相手もお手上げだろうね。俺ももっともっと勉強しな
I
きゃ。
am forcing myself to use Rainbow Six Siege operators instead of what I know would work, by the way. There was a private area close to guests, but after the incident, there was no stopping people's curiosity. Okay. This seems like one of those maps that you could choose different ways to handle it. I'm just gonna like brute force because you can.
Let's go.
Unless I get blindsided, this should be a
I'm
straightforward
here to
map.
help.
Матрешка готов поручить.
On standby.
And a heavy scout, yep.
to try harder than that.
悪いけどここは通せないんだ。
アーツユニット
One bullet each.
I have to get serious now.
So they're not really targeting
Armor.
our
Reach
boy.
your hands to me. Just try me.
I got this.
Charging.
There we go. Finally.
Charging.
Bike check successful.
Stay out of sight.
Gathering intel.
Charging.
Gathering intel. Resetting.
A bit tricky, but not impossible to deal with.
Gathering intel. Resetting.
仰せのままに暴力で解決するのは嫌なんだけどな。
Again, a little tricky.
Let us go.
I have ideas.
And there
I
will be
have
one
ideas.
day.
Okay. Challenge mode. Up here, the barricade on top is no longer reinforced. Okay. Take Kazi out. We're gonna bring up bait.
今度はどこに行くんですか?
And this bait will be fabulous. Easy spot. Easy spot.
ついてきて。はぐれないように気をつけてね。
No longer barricaded. Gotcha.
Almost. I have to get serious.
I'll make you regret this.
On standby. Beginning collection of battlefield information. Can you do it?
Depending on how I want to go about this.
ここで止まってもらえないかな。
Okay, how much do you take this, girl? Easily, goddamn.
If you're still hesitating, I remember your face as well now.
Go for me.
Essentially, she'll be a bait pretty much for everything wise. Even if you stun her, that's not gonna do shit, mate.
You'll have to try harder than that. Can you do it?
なんでしょう
Ready when you reset it. One bullet each.
Look at those boys!
Gathering in. Hostile in my sight. Thunderstorm. Ready when you stay close. You'll have to try harder than that.
Good shit.
Thunder roar.
Like, this is what I expected. Like,
Ready when
there's
you're
gonna be a
on.
lot of scenarios here where this is gonna be, like, really straightforward
One
and
bullet
easy.
each.
And now we can use our
な
skill.
んでしょう金色の砂原で眠りなさい
Easy.
高難易度のマップも攻略できるドクターであればいつか
Okay.
衛星多項式
Now,
的
the
な問題を
interesting
解明でき
thing
ると予想されます
that is just, that one is just really baiting the enemy, and these axe is just perfect for that. They don't attack hard enough and quick enough for it to be a big enough threat to kill beeswax. And especially taking module into account. Anyway, you carefully control your descent while examining the damaged wall, concerned that you might miss your footing. Oh. Let me see if I'm able to grab free sanity, because I don't think I
Good morning.
have.
A dreamless night of sleep alleviates exhaustion the most.
There we go, free sanity. I'll try to remember to do that real quickly. While I'm at it, because I don't want to forget. Let me quickly change people out here.
この部屋まずい人を眠りに誘うデザインだ
My horns might pose a threat to furniture. I shall be vigilant.
I wonder if the people at Rhodes Island are nice
This place still feels like home.
I
really wish Londinium's workers could have an environment as fine as this.
Okay.
Good morning. A dreamless night of sleep alleviates exhaustion the most. Don't you think?
EX-3. This one seems to be a pretty simple one, too. I guess we'll bring Beeswax. Beeswax is pretty much just Spade at this point, so... and she can handle it pretty darn well.
Let's go! Good scenery here, Doctor. I have to get serious now.
The only way for the enemy to beat me right now, in this scenario, is for drones.
I have a visual. I will stand guard here.
Come on, Sherry Quasi Tesoro. Ooh, gather around me, guys.
I shall cover you.
Charging. ここですね。任せて。
Waiting for further instructions.
Gather around me, guys.
Hey!
If you're
Reduced
still
weight and
hesitating,
speed.
The land will forgive all in the end.
Sorry.
Can you do it?
Like I said, she's bait, and the bait's actually... I didn't think this was going to be the case, by the way.
Revitalize.
I didn't think this was going to be how insane it was going to go.
I'm with you.
Why didn't he? I'm confuzzled. Why did this guy not, but that guy did? I don't know.
A tooth.
Whoa.
Here's a memento.
I was not expecting Makio's guard, by the way.
Light, heed me.
Thunderstorm!
はい、ここに金色の砂浜で眠りなさい。
Come on, guys. I could have used this, yeah.
Come on, Sherry Quasi Tesoro.
Okay. Straightforward map. A little too straightforward. Like, Beeswax, ironically, is actually just curb stomping these enemies because all these enemies are just blowing the load on her. And she just doesn't give a fuck. At all. Okay, challenge mode. More ambitious grenaders will appear. They actually could kill Neural. I will say that. They actually have a good chance of killing Neural. Which makes me want to bring Kirkus out. Or just use Telopsis. We'll see.
Let's go. I'm here to help. I have to get serious now.
Solid positioning.
アーツユニットチャージ中。
On
stand by.
Can you do? I have to get serious now.
I shall cover you.
Thunderstorm.
まだ足元が神に祝福されし大地にある。
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
I will stand.
Don't be afraid.
Charging. Whew. Oh, we're counting on you again today, little apple.
One bullet each.
Light, heed me.
Thunder roar.
A tooth that will slow them down. I'm with you.
Charging.
If you're still hesitant, the land will forgive all in the end. But not now. One bullet each.
Revital.
はい、ここに押しつぶせ。
Will the land shake with fury? Or display her mirth?
Thunderstorm.
なんでしょう、これすなわち神の祝福なり。
This is nothing. Franca and I have been through much worse.
Okay. CR-EX-4. Temporary barricades have been set up on have been set up on the holes on the floor for safety reasons, but it only makes people more curious about what lies behind the barricades. Not beyond, but maybe beyond could work too. But regardless, Also, I need a refresher. Oh, I just realized. Silence. That's why. Duh. So, the reason why he didn't explode is because of silence. Another use for silence. It's funny how people will for the most part try to shit talk Lopland a lot, but silence, they still find uses for silence. Surprisingly, it's like what made a Hypergrip decide that silence completely cock blocked the Grenadiers in this event? You know, it's just like what made them think that way? Okay. Well, it didn't really click to me because it's like I completely forgot what the enemy did, and I was like really confused there. So my thought process was correct. The reason why that worked was because of
Good scenery here, Doctor.
just the fact that silence works on it.
I have to get serious now.
Solid positioning.
Wait. The wrong character.
In your name.
Oops.
I have a visual.
That's a big oops on my part. Oh.
Hmm? We're counting on you
No.
again today, little apple.
Well, I did not realize they could just do that.
Try to keep up.
Well, I don't think it's that idea. Well, first of all, I did not expect... I messed up there already, but... Hypergriff. Hypergriff. What is that point? What is the point of having this lane right here if they go this way? Just... whatever.
I'm here to help. Hmm? Gather around me, guys.
Beginning collection of battlefield information.
Challenge mode, it might actually suck at the beginning here.
I have a visual.
Whew. All gather around me, guys.
Honor must be defended.
If you're still hesitating, I remember your face as well now.
悪いけどここは通せないんだ。
Whew. I have to get serious now. Hmm?
Yeah, you can silence. Okay, so that also confirms right there you can silence the defenders, which means they don't give the weakness effects or the whatever tremble, whatever the fuck it's called, enfeeble. So there's a lot of use case for silence in this event, which is awesome to see. Oh. Oh. Interesting, but ironically not a big issue. Like this, like in paper seems disgusting, but the damage reduction on top of the fact that like we might be actually able to silence his enfeeble as well. I don't know if that's the case, but I am really interested to see that case. Good shit.
Slice them up like a millefeuille. How do you like it?
Now, question is, are they gonna be Speedy Gonzalez, or are we gonna be dealing with easy foes? Okay, start with more DP, but DP does not regenerate. Interesting. I thought they were gonna go attack speed. But makes sense.
私の指示に従ってください。
We're fighting you guys. Then please do your best this job, or I'll be really bored.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
This actually might be an issue.
I have to get serious now.
On standby.
Come on, Sherry, quasi tesoro.
The more defined a battle's goal is, the clearer tactics become.
Very close.
Gather around me, guys.
Beginning collection of battlefield information.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that.
Thunderstorm. Whew. Oh, we're counting on you again today, little apple.
If you're still hesitating, I can get the land will forgive all in the end. But not now.
Thunderstorm.
Remain silent.
Gather around me, guys.
One bullet each.
Arts unit. Charge 中.
Take your time. If they take their time spawning in, we have time to do whatever we want.
ここで止まってもらえないかな。
Whew. Almost. I have to get serious now.
Okay, well, that's a cheesy little thing you can do in this map.
Roar. I have to get serious now.
我が足元が神に祝福されし大地なり。はい、ここにこれすなわち神の祝福なり。
Charging. We're counting on you again today, little apple.
戦術支援システムオンライン。
Okay. How much does does it keep lowering? No. Yeah, we're good. This is pretty much GG. Even with Enfeebled.
潰せ。
Oh, I might have probably made a huge mistake, though. Yep, I made a fucking huge mistake there. Because my brain was thinking, oh yeah, I could just use my skill, it'll be fine. I'm still fine.
Charging. Whew. Oh, I have to get serious now.
One bullet each.
手助けはいる？交渉決裂か。
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Stay focused.
I shall cover you.
Yeah, I made a huge mistake with Bezax there, but I still won. It was kind of like the biggest threat to that map was ultimately the Hammer Dude, which I'm still trying to figure out because the Hammer Dude is all over the place with its mechanic, to the point where it doesn't seem like it uses its mechanic correctly, regardless. Okay. Well, damage reduction, pretty strong. Anyway, so we went through halfway. Like I said, I didn't know how things were gonna go. I didn't expect it to go this smoothly. Regardless, how much do we do? EX, there's no challenge mode for EMAX, but there is the mini annihilation that accounts, which is cool. Yeah, this is actually like when it comes to like medals and the stages for rewards, they definitely tuned it down a lot. But the fact you can do EX, but you don't have to do the challenge mode. You just have to do the annihilation. I think that's pretty cool.
Good morning.
Also, I want to mention how there's like differences in volumes. Like this is louder than the menu music, or at least in the EX version. I don't know what changes that. Something I didn't want to mention that I'm noticing. Okay. Yes. Let's do the real quickly questionnaire. So I'm gonna do that.
I'd say I was a mercenary, more than a weapons tester. As soon as the higher-ups gave the order, I would have to take to the battlefield with newly issued equipment. It was nothing like the battles I fought for Rhodes Island. No one knew or cared why I fought.
Okay. I just want to copy it. I just want to copy it, please. Thank you. Control C. Thank you. Go back to Arknights, please. Okay. We're gonna go to this. There you go. So we're gonna do the survey here while we're at it, and depending upon how long this takes, we may end up stream and then the stream, and then the rest of the EX stages after the fact, which is perfectly fine by me, by the way. I like what they kind of did with the challenge here, because they kind of expect they tuned it down a lot, so I like that. So we don't have to like worry about doing challenge mode. I'm still gonna be doing challenge mode, but Anyway, oh, before we actually continue on, something completely escaped my mind for the beginning of the stream to mention. I do have the Hanatsin and the first week stages going to be up on YouTube in a couple of days from now. I completely forgot to split apart the week 1. I will do that for EX, by the way. I completely spaced that off. So, regardless. Again, I didn't know there was a survey, so we're going to do that real quickly. And then we'll see how things go. Okay. Arknights game survey of 2024 September. Now, let's say they're doing a lot more surveys, which is not a bad thing. Anyway, thank you for taking part of the survey. Your answer will be essential for us to provide more exciting content in the future. So please answer the questions with care. Please be assured that your answers will be used for our internal analysis only. Okay. What is the overall satisfaction with Arknights? Let's be brutally honest here. I'm gonna say satisfying. Like, I'm not gonna say it's overly satisfying, but I'm not gonna say it's fair or disappointing. It's not disappointing, but I don't think I'm going crazy here. It's just good. How likely are you to complete playing Arknights based off of your current experience? Well, obviously, likely. And then their version. Okay, so they're gonna go based off operators here. Okay. Limited operator Ela. Now, I want to talk about this real quickly. Also, I'm gonna probably. While I'm doing this, I'm actually gonna. There we go. Lower that a bit. That's probably going to be like a little too loud. I don't know if that was too loud or not. But anyway. Okay. So let's kind of talk about this for a minute, because this is going to be something that's probably going to pop up. My thought process. Now, okay. That's a great way to start about talking about stuff. Anyway. So. When it comes to my thought process, if I don't like something or I'm critical, I generally, for the most part, will say it. I am not going to try to please anyone with my thought process or what I feel. I say it how I feel about it. And I'm not going to be I'll try my best not to be influenced by other people. It's still going to happen, but I'm trying my best not to fully, because at the end of the day, oh fuck.
I will ensure the office's safety during this period of time.
Let me do that so she stops talking. Okay. Anyway, the main point I say about this is because there have been certain people that have talked about collabs in Arknights. I'm not the only one, obviously, but Supa, a sort of decently well-known content creator that for the most part has gained a negative reputation. I think that is kind of unfair in my opinion, but sometimes the people's different opinions, they're not gonna please everyone, and that's perfectly okay. But people are going to be hive mind, so it's just how it is. Regardless of that, he released a video talking about the fact that most of the collab operators just don't work, or in a sense, not good or faulty to a certain degree. I think that's what probably he's gone at. I have not watched the video myself, but I can, just from what the title suggests, and knowing how people don't like said content creator to an extent, there might be some people that like him, but I think he has garnered a negative reputation, in my opinion. I don't think it's completely correct, actually. Now, there are certain operators, certain collab operators, especially some in the future, that are just complete garbage and are just completely mindless to the point of, like, who would use them? So, for example, I'm talking about Dungeon Meshi here. There's only one character in that collab that's actually worth using. And that's the 5-star, fuckboy, the agent character class. I would say he's the only one that's worth using out of the rest. I think the 6-star, well, the interesting thing about the 6-star is that she can essentially charge SP without being on the field. That's what makes her unique, essentially. Even though it's certainly a different system, it's still SP. Let's just be real. Yeah. There's no way to gain it differently compared to all the different variations we've had, you know? Regardless, that's the only thing that's unique about her. There are technically other characters that do AoE, and some characters that just do over AoE more constantly better than her. And while she does have high damage, it's only for a short amount of period of time. And it's not like the thing about her is that they try to make her like stun, depending upon a certain amount of charge along with damage. And I feel like it's faulty for a lot of reasons. Take into effect that while I'm at, I'm gonna roll down the windows because it's getting really hot in here. Yeah, it's getting pretty damn toasty in here. I do have the fan on, so I don't know if you can. I mean, you can see it, but I don't know if you can hear it. But it's starting to get toasty in here. Regardless, Dungeon Meshing 6-star girl. Well, that is the case. She can stun at the hardest, you know, level. High damage, AoE, decent AoE, probably better than some, and stun. There's some flaws with it, of course. What if the enemy doesn't get stunned? What if, it's not long enough to do enough damage? Certain characters, I feel like, are just gone power creeped, and they still, even with them being power creeped, I would argue still better. Because there's a faster use case, and there's a lot more to it. For example, I would say Effie is still better. The 6-star Effie that's already been power creeped is still better. And it's because of the fact that they made her such a long SP cost time. Like, if they didn't make it, like, what is it, 80 seconds at the highest level? Might be incorrect with that. If they didn't make it that high, I feel like she would probably be a lot better viewed in the game, at least in the public space, at least over S3. Now, some people use say S2, but, like, you could just use FES2. That's technically infinite. Like, it's not infinite skill, but 6 seconds is really quick. I used her S2 in this event, specifically on Dash 7 Trust Farm. It's like... guys. Is that necessary? Like, what she brings to the table is nothing new, nothing unique. And while they try to play along with the fact of being a collab and from where she's from and lore and stuff like that, I just feel like she still doesn't bring something unique enough to make her useful enough to warrant using her over characters we've already had since the launch of the game. And I would say that for everyone else except the agent dude, which completely nullifies elemental damage for a certain amount of time, or just tile damage for a certain amount of time. That is completely unique. Now, that could change in the future, but that is completely unique. Okay, so going over the other characters. We have the chef dude, which is just a healing defender. From what I understand, from what I've seen, he's nothing unique. Sorry. To me, he doesn't seem unique enough for using over other characters. You have the guard dude. Mantha class. Brings frightened or enfeeble, or whatever the fuck the SAS exclamation is. we only have a certain 6-star that just completely cream pies him. I mean, people just tend to forget that it's like, technically, you could just use Dick and Britcha as well and actually do something. I know in a joking sense, you should be able to do pretty much everything that can pretty much be blocked by him for a certain amount of time. But, like, you could just also kill at the same time. Like, seriously. The only thing is just for jokes, and that's it. I'm not really a big fan of that banner or what they bring to the table. I feel like they try to play along with what's been done from, I guess, the anime side of you. Especially because from what I've heard from the grapevine, there's still a lot more to the characters that they have barely touched. So, to me, I feel like the other utilized. They just not really used to the full potential. And it's understandable because they're only doing it based off the anime. And this is kind of like the issue with doing this. Is because since there's like so much to do in terms of the anime, and so much there is in terms of so far the manga has gone, that I think it's a disservice to do a collab this early. Even if I'm not a big fan, I can recognize that I think it's too early. And that's kind of the main issue I have with most collabs, is they do it way too early for the collab that they probably would be able to do a lot more with if they just waited for some time, like after the second or third season. Now, that's not always the case for certain collabs, like for instance, Rainbow Six Siege has been out for some time, like 2017, and I feel like that's not necessarily a issue with Rainbow Six Siege. But it's something to take into consideration, like especially for like, since it's not based off the manga, but off the anime, you end up getting to a reiteration where certain scenarios, it'd be best just to wait. But even if I'm not a big fan, or don't know that much, if I could just barely hear something and say, okay, they probably should have just waited, that says a lot. Would that be the case, though? Would there be a second season? I don't know. But it's something to take into consideration. So, in some respects, going back to the main topic ahead about Super, and the idea that most collabs are shit, and they have no use case a lot of the time, I kinda agree. But then I look at Ila, and I'm like, being able to place down a mine that no one has to actually touch, that's AoE, that can either stun for a amount of seconds, pretty much debuff for a amount of seconds, or whatever the case may be, is really fucking strong. Really fucking strong. And then take in consideration that he could do high damage, especially with that use case of mines. Huh? Where are we getting this idea from? Now, on top of that, I look at the Monster Hunter collab. Not a big fan of the collab, but I can recognize that Yato's fucking destruction is really fucking good. And she's just broken. Like, honestly, yeah, you have Walter, but you have a character that's pretty much immortal. One lane that does lots of damage, that is multi-hit, that can hit multiple enemies at once, no matter how many there is. You don't even take into consideration that enemies that have multiple titles to them pretty much get fucked over. I'm looking at the bosses here in that scenario. There's a lot of use case for, like, Yato Alter that is disgusting. And you're putting her and Ela into the same realm as the Dungeon Meshi collab in terms of usefulness? What the fuck? Like, I don't hate Super at all. But there are certain points where I agree with him. And there are points where I'm like, what the fuck are you smoking, bait? Like, people, like, automatically say Loplon shit. People consider Loplon the best 5-star in the game. There was a survey done that pretty much up until like even before like certain characters came out in EN that they did, and in the survey, Laplan beaten out some of the best, considered best 5 stars like Telopsis, and she was like top 30 for a 5-star compared to all the 6 stars. Now this was like way before Walter, by the way, but the fact that she's considered the best 5-star says a lot. She does high arts damage. I'm not taking into consideration modules either, by the way. Modules just make her way better. By the way. So yeah, you have Silence, but Silence still has an extremely huge use case. Way more than some other abilities in this game, like Sleep. I'm not gonna talk about Sleep again because I've already said my piece. Sleep is a shitty element. I mean, status effect, my bad. Regardless, Silence does use case. I realize it's more use case in this event as well. It's like they continuously bring Silence use case, and then take into consideration Laplande and her 5 to 7 second silence is disgusting. On top of the fact that with their skill usage, especially if you combine it really well with certain characters like Liskarm, she can continuously do multiple characters with silence easily for 5 to 7 seconds and pretty much shut down a huge amount of enemies in the game that a lot of people would think, wow, that is way too easy. Yeah, that's why silence is not used for every single enemy or boss in the game. But silence, when they use silence, silence differently just nullifies what the enemy can do. Regardless, citing the obvious, that's an example of like a lot of people like trash on her, trash on Beeswax, and I feel like those characters have a lot more use case that people make into account that they just tend to forget for one reason or another. I think Beeswax is a really good range bait, as especially just already shown so far with the stage clears here on EX. And then Laplande also just really showcasing her stuff with a combination of Liskarm. Those two can marry and have many kids, and no one will blink an eye because that's how good they are. That makes no fucking sense. But regardless, so I don't always agree with what he says. I'm not gonna go over every single collab because there's some good, some are not. Some of them I feel like are kind of slept on. I'm looking at I have to make sure I don't Lo Zhao. Pronouncing that. Like, I don't use Lo Zhao He all that much, but I can recognize that his ability to just ignore defense, 200 enemy defense, and make it easier to kill after a certain point is really good. And then of course his S1 use case could be used too, but I think his S2 I tend to sleep on a lot more, and I probably should use it more in certain scenarios. But regardless, I would say like over 50% of the collab characters have use case and are good. Even the first Rainbow Six Siege collab, which have fallen off, still have their own use cases, especially after the fact they came into the game. And I tend to like neglect like S3 Ash. S3 Ash is really good, even if it's limited. I just tend to forget it exists sometimes. So it's like in scenarios like that, it's like I cannot agree with the idea that a lot of the collab characters are bad or in some way, shape, or form not that great. Regardless, I want to just say that real quickly as we kind of talk about Eli here. I would say Sasmane, is she broken? No. Is she really good? I would say she can be really good in the right hands. And I think with the fact that you can place mine anywhere else, so you're not limited, and you don't have to be the enemies touching the mine to make the mine explode, is fucking broken. I won't say broken, because that's like the best like mine character in the game. Like you have I don't know. Is he even is she a main character? Wait, like first of all, am I being mistaken? Have I been mistaken all this time for Ela being like a main character? No, she is. She's a trap master. Like she completely ignores a lot of the trap master mechanics. Even I'm likely here. Even with like Dorothea here. Dorothea I say is pretty good. Like really good in the right hands. Ela is just better. Worst case scenario, she might be very limited after a certain amount of time, but there are ways to get more mines and you don't have to step on it. Fucking amazing. You can do a lot with her than people make out to be. Regardless, she's not broken, but she's really good. And especially compared to the future we already know, like Walter, I would say Ella is satisfying. I can't really say much because I don't know if this is taking into consideration the story. Okay, that doesn't. Okay. Mechanics. Mixed. Because as I kind of talked about at the beginning of the stream, when it came to like the comparison to Monster Hunter, they both have a similar idea process of like adding, of course, the event stages with the event enemies having a unique mechanic, but they also try to add in items to help you out. Granted, a lot of the time you don't need to use the items, so it's like, is that a good or a bad thing? You know, that's the thing. It was like, does it need to be hard enough to force you to use the items? Or is it good that it's optional? And that if you're good enough, you don't need them? Now, let's say satisfying, but story, I have not experienced or pay attention. I can't say a story because it's not based off the story, but it's a certain selection. The UI is pretty good. I don't think the event fits well with Arknights' story or whatever. I feel like that's just unfair to say. Combine that with gameplay. But I don't know if that's really the case with gameplay either. Like, if you want to have something that fits in with Arknights, do another game that's tower defense. Yeah, like, no. Gameplay doesn't fit either. Or the story. Or the lore. In my opinion. I don't think it's... Because of what the main story focuses on, I wouldn't really say that. Like, there's the lore and the world, sure. But because the main focus is going to be the main theme story, I would argue that no. The first one, more so than the second. But I haven't read the story. So... I can't really say the game is like... I don't think that... I mean, if you can make the stages hard, but I wouldn't say the stages are easy. Because I mean, do you consider EX into that? Do you consider EX into that? I'm not gonna say UI. I don't think... the thing is, the tactical installations don't feel like the necessary. They're necessary. So that's why it's like, I can't say are strategic and fun, because I haven't had the need to use them. And they're not forced upon you. Maybe better if they're forced upon you than just unlocked after a certain point. Regardless, I'd say the arts work for characters are good. I do actually like the artwork for the characters. I'll say this. I think with the items aspect, because they're not mandatory, even if the stage doesn't require them, I feel like because they're not mandatory, I feel like they're just inferior to exist to begin with. Because I have, at this point, no need to use them. That, of course, you can make the argument that I'm a player that's playing for a long time, I know what I'm doing, I have strong operators. Sure, yes. And I have no need to use them still. And I don't want to have them to force to make it difficult to force you to use them. The better alternative is to force the player to choose to make sense for them to have such items to begin with. And then add more variants to them. That's how you go about it. Or upgrades to them. Like a system in the event to upgrade them would make more sense than just to unlock said item as is and then feel like you don't need them. That's just how I feel. I just don't really think, to me, there's use to it. There can be use to it, then I recognize that they can be good, but I just don't feel like they're necessary. They're just there to be there. And I think that would be different if I was forced to use them. Forced to choose to use them. Like, when you develop an event, it forces you to choose at the start. Or before you start a stage, they do training. You go through the training. And then after training, you're forced to use at least a certain amount. Or something like that. I don't know. Honestly, that's it. I can't say anything else. There we go. Yeah, so when it comes to limited enhancing, I'm just willing to use or in terms of original member cost for this operator. But it does not have the option to be very specific, which is kind of like my issue with this. So, whatever. Well, obviously, she's a limited operator. She is a limited operator. Might being crazy. There we go. There you go. Like, to me, I can ignore Illa if I wanted to. Because, like, honestly, there's different ways I could probably debuff that would be more effective than her. Theoretically. But technically she has, like... Well, that may be the case, it's a very limited range. Well, she could be pretty much overall the field, so... Anyway. Where do you find out about this collab event and view its related contents? CN months. head. That's all, friends. That's it. Like, none of this other stuff I've gotten, obviously, in focus. I mean, I look ahead, because I, not look ahead, but, like, look ahead in terms of, like, what CN streams talk about in the currently new operators and the, to an extent, of the event. So, CN months ahead, that's all you got. So, during the collaboration, what types of user-generated content have you watched? Not necessarily. The thing is, while I have technically watched a few here and there, it's not to the point that I'm just going after this sort of stuff. So I'm just gonna mention I just play the game and don't bother. Because while I am a content creator, at the same time, I don't really bother looking much at other content creators for the most part. I might see thumbnails, so I might respond or think or say something about that, like, of course, the Super situation, but not specifically watching videos. Especially whatever people do. I tend to avoid or ignore, especially with certain opinions / thought processes that I just don't really care about, so their content creators with R6 Siege. There we go. So, as a content creator myself, I have not watched any other content from other content creators with the Rainbow Six Siege collab. There we go. The past month, what of the following games have you played? Nope. Nope. Surprisingly, I would, but nope. Nope. I see a lot of people care about it. I don't care too much. I was just kind of got bored of it really quickly. I'm like, this side is just kind of, Regardless, a Blue Archive, I just can't. Nope. 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 Actually, not really. Alright, I'm already at the point of, like, the same thing as Genshin Impact and, Honkai Star Rail. It's hard for me to get into the game after I stop playing. Just because there's way, like, Mihoyo Verse does way too much FOMO. I already talked about this before in other content creators, especially like Asmongold, for example. I'm surprised he has the same viewpoints as I do. Too much FOMO to get back into it. Too much FOMO. And I'm not one of those people that continues playing the game because of FOMO. I can just stop playing if I want to. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to prioritize me having fun and enjoying life. So, there's that. Nope, but nope, nope. First of all, surprisingly, Fire Emblem Heroes. I've been enjoying that for what it is, but the issues I still have with the game are still present. So, you know, who knows how long that's going to take. No, I'm borrowing this berry. There we go. And I guess I could mention for a little bit the Battle Cats, because they are also currently the 10th anniversary. And the only other game, I mean, technically I am going after games with achievements. So, games with Google Play achievements. Example being my universe. That simple. That's honestly what I've been playing in terms of mobile games. As for mobile games, that's the important thing to know. What's your experience with Rainbow Six Siege? I've heard about it. I haven't played it. I don't think outside I know a lot about it. So I'm like kind of in between the two of these. I guess I could say that, but I would say this would be more accurate. Yeah, it's time to go crazy and literally suggest everything under the sun that they should change for Arknights. Thank you! Thank you! Arknights. Technically. It's crazy to think about this for a minute. Because technically I am now 26. It's insane to think about. But I am. It's like, oh god. I'm already past the halfway point of the 20s. It's going by really quickly. Unless I'm mistaken, I'm being stupid. Then again, I don't really care too much. I just want to know, like, my general area of age. I just don't care about specifically the age I am. I had to think about this actually not too long ago because people were asking, like, my age and thought they were, like, I was, like, 20 or 21. And I'm like, no, I'm 26. So people are thinking I'm a lot younger than I am. So, interesting tidbit to know. Anyway. No. That's not gonna be the best way to go about this. I need to grab the... I'm gonna do this. Just in case. I don't want to show too much. Where would it be? Just a sec while I grab this folder, or technically the thing I can't remember right now. That's not. Where the hell did it go? Where did that survey go? What? Am I going crazy? I'm just trying to find where we had that, text file for Zulukstum survey. No, it wouldn't have been survey that, it would have been, the, Degenbrecher event. I can't remember now. this might be a bad thing. 4.5 ads for AKEN survey. Is that it? Yes. Awesome. Okay, finally found it. I finally found it. Okay, this is on YoStar for allowing us to do this. Because I have a lot to add for the game. A lot of things that I've completely forgotten. Okay. Because I wanted to do it with, the Dagon Butcher, but they didn't allow us, so this is kind of on them, because this has just been a stockpiling thing. So I might as well kind of go over everything for those that have completely missed out. So I'll kind of go over, things that I wanted to mention. Also, I guess there was the 4.5 as well. Regardless. Okay, so let's go over each one, and this is gonna be a bit, but the fact that they just kind of allow us to fair opinions and suggestions for Arknights, again, YoStar. Anyway, okay, so the first one, Amiya. So when it came to the 4.5 anniversary live stream for EN, I thought that the live 2D for Amiya was not that great. So that's kind of the first thing I want to mention. That was something I wanted to mention around the time of the, when last event came out. So I guess this wasn't like too long ago. This was like about a month ago, thinking about it now, but yeah, it needed work. And the second one is the 5th anniversary. I talked about this a lot because I feel like this should be the case. The 5th anniversary should be swapped around when it comes to Wizardel, Logos, and Pippe. Now, a lot of people are going to slap back with saying, what about Aslan? Well, do you not remember what happened for the 1st anniversary? They could just move that shit over. Like, if you're going to swap, if Aslan's needed, move Aslan with Wizardel. It's like, very straightforward way to go about it. To me, I think for being as important as it was for CN, it should be as important for EN as well. Instead of going with the generic summer for anniversary for us, which I'm not really been a big fan of anyway. I think it's just really stupid. They should actually keep on track with the anniversaries, in my opinion. But that's probably not going to happen. But I would much prefer if they swapped around Wizardel and Logos with Pippe, and they could move Aslan, move her ass right with Wizardel. It's not that hard. They've done it before at the 1st anniversary. This is something that I've been really wanting them to do, and I think it'd straight up be better. People would be angry about it, I know. I 100% know people would actually be furious. But I would much rather prefer that than Pippe being anniversary for us. I honestly feel like that when it comes to anniversary material, Pippe ain't it. Pippe is not anniversary material for 5th anniversary compared to like Wizardel and Logos. And in general, I don't think it's new continent. We're dealing with like Sargon and Egypt, but in terms of a anniversary, no, I don't think it's that great enough. Regardless. Anyway, that's what I think, and that's why I put that for number 2. Number 3 is something I've mentioned many times before already, ever since I first mentioned it, and that is, of course, the IS-2 revamp. Add more stuff to it, add system layer, upgrade the relics based off the level system. Don't try to focus on stats, but focus more on other stuff that may make it harder, like, you know, can't do a 6-star until like halfway through, stuff like that. More negative relics that are balanced, and or unique. I feel like IS2 and IS3 didn't really do that great of a job, in my opinion. But that's just me. More staged enemies and bosses, and more of an impact with the card system. So in IS2, there are cards that give certain buffs. I feel like there should be more with it. Hence, the revamp could do that. Add more cards, add more to the card system. Now, number 4 kind of ties back into number 3, adding a new side story featuring around IS2 revamp. Either having Christine or the hero be a playable operator, or hero of the story be the boss. They could also do playwright as an operator as well. That is something that I could see happening if they went about an IS2 revamp. The other one is something that obviously I've been for like 4+ years now. Crown Slayer being playable. I think that is more likely a scenario than people realize at this point. With Lapland Altar, I could easily see it being a limited, with Crown Slayer being as a 6-star. Based on how people have felt about Crown Slayer, I feel like people just tend to ignore the fact that there's a lot of push for Crown Slayer being playable. So that alone, I see Crown Slayer being playable. I do. It's just a matter of fucking when. I've kind of been sleeping on Reunion, though. So it's hard to really say what will happen with Crown Slayer, but I could see a lot happen. It just depends on what they do. And then, of course, there's Tallulah. I put question marks because I'm still like 50-50 with the idea. Even though it would be cool, there's a lot to suggest that they won't, especially if they focus lore-wise. They have a, like, lore-wise, there's a hate boner against Tallulah, so I don't fucking know. Compared to, like, other characters, Tallulah gets shot on most for some stupid reason. They pulled shit out of their ass for the characters, and they're gonna give a shit about doing that. While Tallulah is just like, we can't because of lore reasons. It's like, really? You have Veritosa, you have Hoyok, and then Tallulah can't be playable? What the fuck? Yeah, it's honestly one of those that it baffles me. That, like, we're at this point where the Hypergriff themselves pull shit out of their ass just to make certain characters playable, and then Tallulah still not being because of lore reasons. Yeah, at this point, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking with Tallulah, and it makes no sense because Hoyok and Veritosa are a thing. It's just like, really? Hypergriff? Really? Anyway. Number 7, when is Owl going to be playable operator or more lore? If you don't know, Owl is a Rose Island operator that has kind of been mentioned in very, very, very early on in the game's history. So much so that most people don't even know what the fuck who Owl is. He is a friend or colleague to I'm gonna have to find him real quick. To, I believe, 12F? So, it's just one of those characters that I feel like doesn't really get a lot to. That feels like there's enough to, but they just haven't fucking touched for some reason. So, I expect if they do something for Owl, if they really care about that, we could actually see her in the next main story. That's what I personally think. Regardless. After that, number 8. Me personally speaking, I would like to see Durnar get some love compared to the other characters that, in the same line as Durnar, get way more treatment. Gavial and Courier. Like Courier getting 2 skins, being a member of Silverash King. Then you have Gavial, got an altar. Important in terms of Sargon with the whole Durian and crocodile people. So it's like they're not really getting anything compared to the two is just baffling at this point. It feels like the directory would say that Durna should get a lot more lore stuff involved with her, but she hasn't gotten a skin or an altar. It just makes no sense. Lore-wise, it makes sense for it, especially to have an altar, but they didn't at this point still. I feel like Durna needs that treatment. I have all the characters at the next number 9, which ties into number 8 to an extent. Out of all characters, I think Durna should be getting a skin or altar the most. But that's just me. Regardless, after that, number 9, characters from first year that need to get a skin or an altar. And I mentioned pretty much all the characters that have yet to get an altar or a skin from the first year, which is interesting to think about, that there's a certain amount. But anyway, regardless, we have Rangers, Matamaru, Durin, 12F, Haze, Vanilla, Puppcore, Vermil, Bison, Estelle, Caesar, Vulcan, and Sheev. Now, technically, Vanilla did get a skin. Technically, like, sometime after this, by the way, I believe Vanilla did get a skin, which is the one thing that, did change, I believe. Right, I need to make sure I look this up. Okay, they don't have it available right now, but I believe she did get a skin. So we're gonna remove Vanilla. But aside from the Vanilla, that's about it so far. And I also did mention many other characters should get skins as altar treatment overall. After that, again, that's kind of all in a group, honestly. I could probably list it as like a side thing, but regardless, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I guess I could, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, 11. Add a shipyard mechanic from Azure Lane into Arknights. This is something that I've already mentioned before. If you don't know about the shipyard mechanic, it is a long-term mechanic that unlocks unique, good ships or ship girls into your roster. And I feel like they've gotten more love than most other characters a lot of the time. And I feel like as a long-term thing, getting unique, cool, possibly really good characters in a long-term setting would be something that people can focus on for a long-term time, not take into account the module system, because module system is not the way to go about it. I think the module system as a in-game thought process is a really shit thought out process, especially limiting it versus limiting it timeline-wise. I much prefer the ship mechanic over modules, in my opinion. Regardless. I've already mentioned it before, but like having a commission or a mercenary quest, long-term getting good operators, should be potential for set operators with the mechanic or for auto operators for way to max them out. Like say there's a memorandum as a side thing, I think. Include a certain objective of new and old maps with clears of new and old with support. Also a way to add increased trust with being able to objective at the same time as test operating. So this will be able to, like, in a way, if you're working on said operator, you can increase their trust if you're able to use them. It's the question mark at the end. So that there is a lot to take into consideration with that. And okay, next is something that we kind of talked about, but I feel like would make more sense than whatever they did eventually go out with. So for those that don't know, the old operators that they removed from CC, from the old CC, they pretty much eventually moved them. We have not had that yet, but they will eventually add it so that they are in the certificate store. But for yellow, that sounds as bad as you think it might be. So That's why I have been a staunch. This section was me saying, hey, we should add these characters in a different way. So, for example, I made it so that Tuye is obtainable in Reclamation Algorithm instead, as a reward that people don't have her, as this is a better option and makes sense because Reclamation Algorithm features her in the story a lot. It just kind of makes sense for her to be available as an operator. I don't know why they did not think of this at all, but regardless. Number 13, add more new credit store operators. This is something I've been a big, heavy advocate for. The same thing as what Durnar, Gavio, and Courier are. Just add more operators into credit store. I like that. I want them to continue doing that. They haven't done that since episode 5 release. Yes. No, episode 6 release, actually. I think it was episode 6 release. So that was like, at this point, over 4 years ago. Over 4 years ago. Technically, more than that if you consider CN. So, yeah. Yeah. It's been a flippin' long time since we had a new credit store operator. The number 14, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about changing how we get old operators from CC. Add old CC operators to red certificates, which are technically called purchase certificates. They're pretty much, you can farm them in one of the daily stages that's open every so often. Last but not least, test operators. This is a mechanic that I thought, I taken, in a sense, inspiration from other gacha games like Epic 7 with the Moonlight system, with certain characters you can get from Moonlight. Do the missions, you get that character. So, for example, test operators. Operators you eventually earn for free. You can build. If you choose to stop or go for another operator, you get all your resources back from use from said operator. You can do this for a certain limited amount of times, maybe once every year or more for a test operator. Or you just have to, after you finish it, it takes a year. If anything, this is for new players, that's the thought process. For new operators, new players to test out operators they like, and they can choose which one they like and use, and finish those missions to have for free. So they don't have to go a system like, it just expands on getting a certain 6-star. I know they changed the whole beginning banner system. I think this could be a way to give someone, gives more players a boost to a certain extent. But given the fact that they can obviously choose which operators to include, I think it'd be a pretty cool system for players. Anyway. Okay. Now, we kind of talked about everything there. There was a lot more I wanted to put down, but the reason why we actually did not finish this was mostly in part to the fact that at the time, I learned that this was not this. This is not like you could give opinions or reviews or thought processes for Arknights. Instead, it was, what do you think about the event? When I learned that, I was like, me. So, yeah. That's what we're able to do now. Anyway. So, two reminders will be at it. Collabs that work with Arknights. Focused on bringing a tower defense collab to Arknights. Don't know why this hasn't happened yet. Example being plants versus zombies. Fair enough. I know a lot of the CM player base would like this, by the way, that they do a good job with it. And this will tie into 16. More collabs that I would be interested in. Like, honestly, too many to mention. Few that I would love to see. Duh. Now it's time to actually think about this for a second. What else could work? I already kind of mentioned Capcom, but I don't expect Capcom again. I truly don't. So I'm gonna ignore Capcom games, unfortunately. Because I would. I actually would. But I just don't see it. Which, like, greatly restricts the amount of uses. Like, the big top ones I would go for. What could I even go for this point? Mashoko Tensei. You know, I'm actually gonna make sure I spell this correctly. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm actually gonna remove that. I don't know why that's even on my taskbar. That's kinda correct. There we go. There's that, Anohana. The flowers we saw that day. I don't know why I said, the grew that day, saw that day. This is one that I'm surprised we didn't have yet. That's way better than Dungeon Meshi in terms of, like, actual, like, would make sense to be a collab for Arknights in terms of its, like, theming. And I think perfectly fits for Arknights. Technically, Mushoku Tensei to an extent does too, but not really to the extent of Anohana. I'm gonna ignore any other thought process when it comes to anime, because like those two are probably like the best, too big, I would say. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm curious to see if, like, could they do Fire Emblem? They could. We just need to see if they would. It really is actually kind of hard to get, like, say without just suggesting a lot of shit, you know? Ooh, wait. I know I kind of mentioned it as a joke before, but now I think it could actually work. With the way they've been going about it with Raw. How the world that integrates with reclamation. Algorithm. Not. I don't think that's even remotely correct. Double checking spelling. Yeah. Reclamation. Okay. Well, I'm thinking about it now. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Mod Factory. Something stupid that I don't see ever doing, but it would work as a tower defense game collab. Same thing for Phasmophobia. So stupid I don't see happening, but it would generally be interesting to see if they do manage to do something with those. I'm trying to think of something unique that isn't like some generic popular series. Some of those are technically, you could argue Mushoku Tensei and Plants vs. Zombies and Ohana would technically be in that category to an extent. Maybe even Power World or Fire Emblem. But I would say generic would be like, Fate. Another generic would be like Street Fighter. Another one, what else could be another one? Persona 5 or Persona in general. It's like, sure, there might be some that I like, some I don't care about as a collab, but I feel like those are not as fun or like interesting. I find often boring the idea of like a popular game as a collab. I think they could do a lot of interesting stuff if they don't go for, you know, not popular games. I think that would make interesting collabs, but regardless, at this point, I'm just listing random shit. I'll just go with that. Okay. Okay, I'm done with that. Like at this point, I think I've had enough of thought process. I can't think of anything at the moment that I'll probably think later on and be like, oh, that would have been a better idea. 18. Tactical equipment or items in collab stages for Arknights. I'm gonna quotation mark these. Tactical equipment or items don't feel necessary. Might be better to be forced to use them without needing them for stages. Which kind of goes along with 19. A collab focused I just saw this. Integrated strategies that ties into number 18. There we go. Top focus integrated strategies. Right. That actually would be kind of interesting to see. I got the whole collab stuff out of the way. At this point, I can't think of anything. It's like, it might have been something I probably would have thought about, but no, I can't. I talked about the whole collab stuff. I could talk about like other past stuff I've mentioned before that I feel like would just be redundant because they don't give a fuck about. So I know they don't give a fuck about. So honestly, at this point, I generally don't think we will. I don't think there's anything else I can think of at this moment. This is popping up in my head. Oh! I just thought of it. Just saw something. Add more levels to accounts and more max stamina. Yeah, so this is something I'm also thinking about right now, too. Add specific clothes back into the game in a way that haven't for years. So S6 upgraded Sarkaz Caster. Last time I checked, S6 has not been in the game for years. I might be incorrect, but I haven't seen one for a long ass time. Go back to here. Unless I'm mistaken, there should be a few more enemies, but I think there might be way lower down here. Okay, yeah, so, MU4, I just say 1 through MU5. They're not really, like, that special of enemies to be locked out for whatever reason. Unless they did and I don't know about it. The rest are pretty much not really necessary to mention or no. So yeah, that one is just add specific foes back into the game to actually face. Those are the only ones. Specifically, because I know people probably missed out on MU 1 through 5. I missed out on 4 specifically. So... Okay. What else? What else? Oh. Oh, yes. 22. More trust overview. Groups with items. And 23. More rewards. More rewards for trust overview existing. More rewards for the trust overview existing groups. Like, for example, you only need 200% for Reserve Op Team A1, but you can have a total up to 1,000. So why do we only get, like... Oh, no, that's like 500. My bad. It's 500, not 200%. That's because it's 200% max for each character. So you have 1,000. You only need 500. I feel like you could have, like, 2. 1 for 500, 1 for 1,000, because they're 3 stars, you know? Like, every single person can get a Fang, every single person can get a Beagle, a Cruise, a Love, a Hibiscus. So it makes sense for there to be an additional item for this sort of stuff, you know? This stuff is weird that it just hasn't been updated for a long time, and it just makes no sense that there really isn't more to this. What else? I'm gonna say this. Revamp UI of the fashion gallery to make it easier to find what you want to see. And let me see. The fact that, by the way, this is like not really the case at all. Like, you have to specifically drag all the way to the bottom to which one you need specifically. Like, the newer ones are easy to be fine, yes. But maybe you want to see someone from, like, year 2-7. 7th month of year 2. You have to go, like, all the way, scroll down to get to it. You go by brand, sure, but I feel like they could organize this a lot better. Revamp the UI of the fashion guide to make it easy to find what you want to see and to look better. At this point, I'm just nitpicking and seeing what they can improve upon. Okay, fashion gallery is good. I think adding more to the dress overview is needed. Enemies, like I already went over before. Intelligence, I think they did a decent job with intelligence. Path to glory, 25. Add more of a way or options to we'll read to decorate personal metal showcase. So I don't think it's that great to begin with, and it's very limiting. Personally. I would like to add more, but you can't. So it's like, what's the point if I can only add a certain amount? I think that needs to be revamped to an extent in terms of how it looks. I know we're getting more friends. I know there's a whole, like, they changed not too long ago the profile. So I can't really say that too much, but base, oh yeah, base. I want to say this. Be able to add presets for each of the buildings in base. There you go. Be able to add presets for specific operators for each of the buildings in base. So it's easier.
Good morning. A dreamless night of sleep
To
alleviates
change
exhaustion the most, don't you think?
what operators you want to use. There you go. This is a big one because that's something that I've been annoyed with and why I've just completely ignored the base system in the game anymore. Is because it takes way too long to choose specific operators you want just to do specific things, while it would just be so much easier to be able to take the time to add presets of specific operators for each building to cycle through and have multiple for each type of building. I don't bother using the base correctly anymore due to taking too much time to work on, I guess. Okay. I already talked about a lot when it comes to the store. I already talked about adding more credit operators. I already talked about doing stuff with certificates. Oh yes, headhunting parametric models. That's it. That's what I want to do. Add more options to headhunting parametric models, or allow to exchange for random. That's, I don't really use them for materials at all. I just never do. Yes, so that the other one. 28. Allow us to farm kernel tokens. That, I don't understand why that's not a thing. Some people could argue that whatever they want, but realistically, if you can essentially farm for characters and recruitment, which is just way better, and kernel is just too much not worth your effort, too much of a scam, takes resources that can be used for normal banners that are just straight up way better, why can't we just farm kernel tokens for their stamina then at that point? Seriously. Allow us to farm kernel tokens. Add new stages to supplies for kernel tokens. After getting a certain points in the game, like with levels or main stage. Yeah, like in our main stage. That'll make it more fair. So you have to play the game up to a certain point to unlock the ability to farm kernel tokens, which would make it completely different than most of the other supply stages. But I think it would give a lot more options for people to go for specific operators a lot easier. Okay. 29. Add more squads that also are not and not, what's the right word? I'm gonna say censored, which is sort of, but at the same time picky. I want to say picky. Not picky or censorship. No one, for the most part, could see the names. Like, here's the thing. Why is there censorship or specific things you can only say with squad names? When, for the most part, it's a single-player game, most of you guys probably don't even see that with the squads I have. To an extent, it's just kind of a weird thing. I'm actually gonna just go for, first of all, add more squads instead of the 4, and then 30. Allow us to name squads without censorship. It's a single player game. It is a single player game. There will be eventually a squad. I mean, but you can't really name, like, no one's gonna really, like, here's the thing. No one, for the most part, should be able to see it unless shown specifically to other people, or they're a content creator. Let's be real. I don't understand the point of trying to censor squad names to the point or being picky. And it's just something that just makes not a lot of sense, especially as a single player game. I mean, yeah, they will have a co-op game mode, but still, nobody should be able to see the squad of your name, because you don't do that, I believe. You don't use that. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention or no. As for Navigator, should be either added to or permanent that's completely misspelled. My brain seems to be. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Please rest at ease. I will ensure the office's safety during this period of time.
Either added it to or permanently added it to either regular tap Tasks. Or seasonal challenge. There we go. Okay, so at this point, I think I've literally went through almost everything the game offers to be able to suggest adding to. Okay. The last one. Add Arknights officially to consoles or PC. Examples, I mean not examples, include PS5, I mean let's just say PlayStation. Related PC apps. There we go. At this point, that's all I could really think about when it comes to suggestions. My goodness. I don't think I could really think of anything else at this point. Save it double times. I can't think of anything else. I mean, there might be something I could think of later on, or other people could think of, but it's just the things I think about, things I remembered. Some things I went specifically to, like, I as you can saw here, I kind of went to, like, specific places in the game to see, like, okay, I would like to see something or change or addition to or whatever in these specific areas. Like, we went from, like, collaborations and stuff like that into, like, more levels to count stamina, then specific foes, then trust overview, more rewards to trust overview, then the UI for fashion quality being improved, decorate, more options for decoration for the metal showcase, presets for operators and buildings for base, options for more options and or exchanging of the head-up scheme paramedic medals, then to farming kernels tokens and adding certain stages for it. In the supply mode, more squads allow us to name the squads without issue, essentially. Adding Trials for Navigator as a permanent mode or a mode from time to time that is relegated to regular tasks or seasonal challenge. And finally, adding now this is not so much to that, but adding Arknights to PC or consoles. Anyway, that is a lot. And all of that is going straight into here. Feel free to share with us your opinions and suggestions for Arknights. Okay, this is a lot, but there's a lot to it that I feel like a lot of people probably can agree upon. Swamped. Okay, Google's being rude right now. I will adjust some things with the spelling error that I might have done. Some of them not. There we go. There's just certain things that it just doesn't really understand. Which is fair enough. I could probably add them, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Journal. I like Nintendo's like that, but, why is PlayStation? Is it because it needs two? It's so specific, like, yo, PlayStation, you need two capitals, like... Okay, whatever you say. I think that's all I want to mention. I can't think of anything else. So I'm probably missing something that I probably will add later on. They'll be like, I forgot I wanted to add that. Like, that will happen. That will happen. I will think of something and be like, oh fuck, I wanted to add that. That's just how it is. And that's something I'll probably add in for later. And I'll probably adjust for when this happens again. Boom. Add stuff that I want to see. I'll keep doing it. Aside from specific stuff that I know Yosar Hyperglyph will not budge on. For sure. Trust me. There are some things that I would like to change or done something about that I know they will not touch. But it is what it is. So, let's submit it. That's a thing? That's a thing? More than 3,000 words entered, please modify? Bruh. Everything here is what I want to keep for a reason. What the fuck? I'm going to I'm gonna remove... Oh, this is gonna suck ass. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy everything. Control C. Oh, delete. And we'll go back to... this. Now we have to shorten this down somehow. That's annoying. Okay, so first of all, I'm just gonna remove this. I'm gonna make Crown Slayer slash Tallulah question mark being playable. I'm gonna remove that. It'll still be understandable. There's like way too much that I would like to see or add. The fact that they limit it to fucking 3,000 is annoying. Even if I organize it all. It's annoying. Do not do that, please. There we go. What I probably could do is that more collabs I would be interested in. I'll just do that. I could probably move this. Okay, more trust overview groups with items. And more rewards. Okay. I hope this does not break the limit again. I'm surprised that there even is a limit. I'm not too surprised, but I'm surprised that we hit it. The fact that there's so many things to add, and it's like you can't say all of that. We try again, please, is just mind-boggling. I might have to remove some suggestions. That's probably a likelihood. But we'll see here. I'm gonna redo that because it's... Save. Let me see. What the fuck? Really? Shoot. This sucks. What do we get rid of? I'm gonna have to remove the Durn Orbit. We can remove 10. And we can add that to right here. 2A to location. Actually, that brings the question up. Do I want to continue on with the whole test operas bit? I'm gonna reward this. If it will not allow me to. That's not what I'm doing. There you go. We do this. System to Moonlight. And actually I'm gonna look it up here. What is it called? Is it called Moonlight Blessing? Let me quickly, well, I say quickly. There we go. I don't remember what it's called, that's why, I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out what it's called. test operators. Similar system to Moonlight. Proceed. I don't care. Just finish it. Is it called Moonlight Blessings? I'm gonna say this right now, and I'll change it. What it's called? Similar system to an in Epic 7. To choose a 6-star someone likes as a new player to keep. That can also teach. I'm just gonna keep it with someone that likes to keep. Because if I keep going, I might not. I might just be doing like another paragraph talking about how they could just do something like it. I'm gonna be similar to Epic 7, just to dramatically reduce the amount of words I can use. And I just don't know because I have to download a shit ton of stuff from the game. I'm actually gonna do 2 Arknights, like Plants for the Zombies, and then I'm going to remove the 16 here and add in more would be okay, instead of that, I'm gonna say collabs that I am interested in. There you go. There we go. So number whatever this, I'm gonna say 13, I guess, will be the collab suggestion. Two-thirds done. And again, if you guys have suggestions, let me know, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to put them on here. It is kind of annoying that I can't put as much as I want. Because, like, there's a lot that I want to go in specifics about that I would like to see adjusted. I just don't see that happening at all. I accidentally didn't mean to do that. There we go. Fix something. Come on, Epic 7. This is gonna be taking forever. Come on, Epic 7. Yes, let's get into it. Let's see. Oh, this is in here. It's been forever since I've done this. Where was it? I can't even fucking remember, and I'm not finding it. On there, go to here. Not exactly.